I'm really trying to get into heaven, and I think this will help me get into heaven. He's like, and I don't.
So he did say this. Trump, regarding Trump, on August 19th, he expressed concern about his chances of getting into heaven. In a televised interview, he said, I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I hear I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. I wonder, I'm like, why would he say something like that? But then I often question, am I getting into heaven? You know, this world tells everybody that if you believe in Jesus, then you're getting into heaven. Like, it's just that simple. You can say it, but God knows your heart better than you do. So just saying it doesn't get you into heaven. Because if it's true and you do believe in Jesus, then there should be a change that happens in here, inside. But I think that many of the churches do a disservice in this area because it's just like, well, you believe in Jesus. Yeah, but okay, but if God says I replaced the heart of stone with the heart of flesh, that's that transformation. And when you have that happen, then you look at the world very different than most people do. You're like, this world is effed up. You do. You see it very differently. One of the things I can't stand about motivational speakers, and nothing against them, but it's all about, it's your will, right? It's your will. You can overcome anything. Yet that's not true, though. Now they would say, no, I'm just negative, and no, it's literally not true. Is there things you can overcome? Yes. Not everything. I couldn't overcome alcohol. I didn't do it. Believe me, I don't forget that. The only part that I did was show up. And I showed up with, I know I've mentioned this before, but it's important because it's what led to the spiritual, the parting of the clouds and the spiritual awakening. Was I showed up, I was desperate, I reached out to God, and I can't do that. And the next day I was in an AA room, and I didn't leave. Then I showed up. Then all I did was show up. My attitude sucked. I showed up with a bad attitude. I said this was bullshit, okay? I mean, yeah, I get on my knees and pray every morning, okay? Yeah, as if that's going to do anything. But I did it, okay? Because I was desperate. I did it. And then, I said how, like, at 4 months, 5 months down the line, it was like there was this just moment. I was in a meeting, actually, when it happened. And it was like I stepped outside myself for a moment. It's the only way I could kind of describe it. And I'm like, wait, who is this person sitting? Who is this person sitting here? This person's different. This is a new person here. Who did this? Because I didn't. I didn't. I can't take credit for that. I would never take credit for it. Because all I did was show up. I showed up and I was desperate enough to do whatever my sponsor said. That's why I often tell patients when I come across them that are struggling with getting sober, I'm like, just show up. Just do the damn 90 meetings in 90 days. Just show up. Do everything your sponsor says. Get a sponsor. They don't have to be like, some people like, hard sponsors that are going to be hard on you. You can get one that's, a moderate, okay? You just get somebody that has what you want. There's something about them that, I wish I was like that kind of thing. You want to get with somebody like that, and they'll help you. Some people like somebody that's tough on them. A sponsor makes them call them every day. Some of them do that. They'll say, I want to hear from you every day. And some people need that toughness. So there's different layers, but the sponsor's really huge because they're going to push you, they should be, to do the steps. And they're going to really push you on the fourth step, which is the one that most alcoholics avoid, and many times will end up, if you don't do the fourth, you'll drink a fifth. So just because you have to look at yourself, okay? And it's usually after that process that if you haven't had a spiritual awakening, you will. It's not far off if you've done a thorough looking at yourself, at all of your own demons, at all of the stuff you don't want to look at, all the stuff that you've buried down in there that you just make excuses for and you don't want to look at and say, you know what, I'm an asshole. I mean, not that alcoholics will often say they're assholes, but it's not to be negative. It's more just like, yeah, this is who I am without God. So then once you go through that kind of, really cleaning up your garbage, it goes away. You're not carrying it anymore. And then it's like God takes root. God then takes a seat in your heart because all that baggage is gone. I mean, that's what my experience was. But I didn't do anything except this. I just put one foot in front of the other. I just showed up. That's it. The rest of it, I can't take any responsibility for. I can't be patting myself on the back like, way to go, Beth, you got sober. Yeah, no, that's not, it had nothing to do with me. So, this, I don't know who's telling Trump that he's low on the totem pole. I more think that Trump, he tends to say things for a reason, even maybe if he doesn't realize he's saying it for a reason. And maybe it's to tell other people, maybe you should be asking yourself, are you sure you're getting into heaven? I don't think enough people really look at that, because it's been so like, no, you believe in God, you're getting into heaven, end of story, just go back to the, everything you used to do before. And I'm not saying you become you're no longer sinful. No, we all are, okay? But I think you do have there. If you truly believe in Jesus, if that's true, and it's not just you saying it, because there's a ton of people that just say it, then there has to be the transformation. Donald Trump's not low on the totem pole. Donald Trump, God raised you up for a reason. You didn't do it all, okay? Just saying, you didn't do it all. And no matter how much you campaigned and your rallies and everything and all, great, but God raised you up for a reason. Yeah, so God had a big hand in it. Just saying. That's what I mean. There's some things, and Donald Trump is somebody that, it's like, he's a firm believer that, the power of positive thinking, yeah, I don't always believe in that stuff. I just don't. It's like, because I've tried it. And what I have found is really, I just end up back at God's doorstep. Yeah, because it's not, you can, it's not that I have a negative attitude, but it's very hard at times, because once you do have a spiritual awakening, you see how this world is so deceptive. The people that are actively trying to deceive people, Candace, Tucker, that whole group, and there's a lot of them, I'd say they're not getting into heaven. It's one thing to deceive people, and you don't mean to do it. Of course, God wouldn't hold that against you. You didn't set out to deceive people. Those people are deliberately trying to deceive people. And I often wonder, I think that some of them know who they work for. If they don't, they should be asking themselves, are they getting into heaven? Because if they really want to, they should get off the track they're on. So maybe Donald Trump is saying this to get people to stop and think. Just because you believe in Jesus doesn't mean you're necessarily getting into heaven. Make sure you really believe in Jesus. Because if you do, then inside should change.